Hello, faithful viewers, and welcome to Week 4 of Blood Bowl. I am Complacent Badger.
I'm Kilo.
And we are watching the Nonpariel Elites versus the Crazy 8's.
I'm ready to see what goes on here. A agility team versus probably the bashiest of the basher teams.
Yep.
With that bloodletter sitting there.
Yeah, the Bloodthirster, Bloodletters, the Khorne Heralds, and hell, even the Pit Fighters are not something to snuff at.
Yeah, it's should be a bit of a bloodbath unless the elites can do their elf dance, stay just far enough away. Some high agility ball movement maybe gets the best of them.
Yeah, and we have seen that the Nonpariel Elites are probably the ones that have been doing the best kind of zone defense, at least in this division.
Right. Yeah, they gave me a little run for my money, and we'll see how they work against Action Jackson and his Crazy 8's.
Okay, so Bloodthirster, level 3 for this game. He gave him +1 armor value. I don't know if I would have gone with that. A 9 is a pretty nice number, but I guess 10 is good too.
10 is better, but here's the thought process on that. What's the increase in value in armor value versus a standard attribute?
Well, you know, it's funny. I used to have back when in my days of playing a lot of 40K, I had the statistical differences of 2 die rolls for leadership tests and whatnot. I had the differences of each statistic step memorized, but now I have it not memorized.
That's fair.
And what I remember from it is that the differences from 9-ish to 10-ish is pretty minor. It's like around a 4 or 5%.
Okay. Because I think that I mean, he's already got a huge team value, and I'm concerned that he picked something that may not be as beneficial as something else. Oh, there we go.
Elves starting it out with wounds, apparently. Yeah, I agree. The +1 armor value is one of the most costly upgrades that you can get, and I don't know how well it's going to help in keeping... usually your Bloodthirster is not the one that goes down. Oh, 2 injuries in the same turn. Wow.
That's impressive. So
the elves using assist properly and getting in there, and these guys are armor value 8, so it's not completely ridiculous that they're being penetrated, but those nice injury rolls are helping out a lot as well.
Well, and that's what makes the difference is, you know, anybody can injure anybody on a given day. It's just how frequently it happens. And
going for some interesting choices on movement. It looks like he went for the dodge instead of opening it up with a blitz so that he can use more to rebuild that cage. So minor risk that was a really good reward, allowing that Bloodthirster to kind of be the head pin of the cage.
Yeah, and I like that as a tactic. Instead of just having him blitz around willy-nilly like he has previously, really using that big guy to drive the wedge when he's trying to move that ball.
Yeah, it definitely makes you a little bit more wary when you're trying to cage break when the guy right next to you can just destroy you.
Right, absolutely correct. Now, how do you feel about a standard cage versus an agility team or versus a modified cage? What would you be going with in a situation like this?
If I was on offense with this team, this is the cage. A standard cage is what I would use against them. This allows me to flush out in case he overcommits to one side, but also keeps my guys strong. He's usually not going to get more than about 1 or 2 assists to breaking in, and even if he does break in, it's most likely only going to be 1 guy, and I can deal with that. All I need is about 3 spaces each turn to get a touchdown.
And that's a really good point, especially based on where that ball is right now. 3 spaces per turn is what you're looking for, and if you can get a little bit better than that, that's good. So this might be over-aggressive.
Well, this is a fine move. As I was saying, while there's a couple guys that can come over here since he failed that dodge roll, which was unfortunate. It just, you know, that happens.
Right.
And yeah, it was a failed dodge. He was rebuilding the cage. He just rolled out because there was a lot more presence on the right side, so he saw the area of least resistance. So this was a good move. It just turned out that he failed a dodge roll. It happens.
Oh, you're absolutely right. So then the most important thing when you make that initial move is saying, is there a guy who can blitz the ball carrier from there? And it looks like that partial cage that he made didn't allow from the front. So, oh, good Lord.
Wow, injury. Regeneration did save him. Yeah, the Elves are playing a strong backfield presence because being an Elf team, they know very quickly that if the ball pops out, they want to be able to get it away from all of the opposing players, and into the opposing backfield is the best place for the ball to at least get it out of yours. And being that all of them agility 4 means that it's a little bit easier for the pass and the catch. The blitzer being available to hit, returning some of those injuries. The blitzer being available to hit right there was a really nice move, and it put the Khorne Daemons team, the Crazy 8's, into a precarious situation. But with strong use of putting players adjacent to the ball and then choosing to use the Bloodthirster to open this up was a good move.
I'm a big fan of what just happened. I'm with you on that.
Both teams are playing excellently right now. A couple bad rolls, but the dangers of those rolls are highly mitigated by good play and good positioning.
And that's what we've been preaching since the beginning. Glad to see that people are either listening or they're learning it on their own. It's hope that they got a little facilitation by us. But that's exactly what you have to say, is that this is a game where nothing's going to go right. So what happens when everything goes wrong? I mean, when you don't pick up the ball, you just need to make it hard for your opponent to take advantage of a missed roll on your part.
So in a dangerous situation right here, he does have some pressure on the ball carrier, deciding to move his thrower out of the way and not just feed it to the Bloodthirster, but without replacing it with a lineman. I feel like that Bloodthirster might just take out that lineman right there.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah, you really want to ensure, and he doesn't even need to with the assist right here. The pit fighter can just do it. Yeah, that was a good move. And man, a lot of injuries this game. Re-rolling that. Going for the thrower, I probably would have done the same. Thrower's a pretty intricate part to the team, and getting that injury is a huge boon, and you got to make the Elves have a hard time for the remainder of the game.
And that's one of the players that I would have been targeting. You know, you do your best to destroy the tactic of your opponent, and especially with a big guy like that. Now, he wasn't overly aggressive in trying. He wasn't going after that character. But he was aware of the position of that character, and then took advantage of that when it was available.
He's using his Bloodthirster correctly. He's using it as a blocker for his ball carrier, and then he used an attack of opportunity on a key player.
I like it a lot, and he's using that blitz effectively, and that's the best use of that player, is when he's blitzing.
A little light on the coverage over here, but not a lot that he can do after hitting that character. Blitz has already used the action, so this character, even if he picks up the ball, can't do anything with it. He also has double coverage on this ball carrier, or this potential catcher over here. On either side means it's, as you can see, very difficult to get out of and caused a KO. So leaving the Elf player with nothing in the backfield. So this was a really good defense that he had there.
Absolutely right. And the idea is that, you know, the benefit of that specifically is when he sandwiches them, he adds potential negative modifiers, and then he has an opportunity to intercept as well, unless the guy moves out of the way. So
yep. Right here, it must have been a misclick on it wasn't paying attention to the angle of the blitz, unless he was going for this character. I thought he was going for this lineman up here and not this lineman, which the course put it over the ball, so that failed pickup and just stopped everything immediately.
And that sucks. And I bet that was a misclick, because that's happened to me before, where you see the route that you want to go, but the Elite's having just a rough game.
Well, that was a -2 modifier to the pass. So I mean, with just a lineman with no extra feats or anything, it's not a super easy pass.
No, absolutely not. But that's you know, unless
Ooh,
you can sometimes take that for granted when you're playing an agility team, that those passes are a little bit easier and you forget those negative modifiers. And that's why it's so important to put players on your opponent when that's an opportunity, because sometimes people won't think about that when they've got other things going on.
As we've said multiple times, the Blood Bowl is one of the key parts of the game is making your opponent make mistakes and allowing them to get comfortable and put the ball in their hands and make a mistake is a good example of a mistake.
Yep.
So coming all the way around for a good hit, pulling that defender stumbles, choosing which way he's going to push and ball bouncing, lucky bounce in the Herald hands.
Yep.
6 on the catch. Looking like he's just about out of players to do anything to that Herald. That Herald is a 3+ away from a touchdown. Taking away that assist right there so that he has to dodge away or do a 1 die to get away. And opts for the 3+ and gets a touchdown. Good choice, good move. Both players doing a really good job.
Yeah, just kind of frustrating each other, and that's a good way to go. And that was the elites had higher than average penetration on the first off, and then to get those injuries was pretty incredible.
Yeah, a couple lucky pens and really good injury rolls can open up a cage real fast, but the coach of the Crazy Eights seeing really quick his cage crumbling in certain areas, so reforming on the other side of the pitch where there wasn't a lot of elf presence, and that's how you play the run game.
Yep, and you know it's still funny because it's what, 9 to 8 players.
Yeah, both taking
pitch?
serious injuries, a KO and 2 injuries. And over here, some Minotaur. 2 injuries.
Yeah, just adding the spectator, the kiss cam going on, huh?
Yeah, it's glorious.
But yeah, so this is not going for score, but it's gonna see who can hit who most effectively. We'll see what happens.
The setup with putting the pit fighters by themselves, especially when it has guard. On the wings like that, allowing for easy assist on your line is probably not a good move. You definitely want this pit fighter adjacent to other pit fighters, the one with guard. The Bloodthirster's not the one that needs the guard.
Right.
But, you know, if you go against big guys, it can be useful. So putting the pit fighter with guard in the center, Bloodthirster on one of the sides, and then the other cultist on the other side with... on the other side of the guard, makes it a strength 4, strength 3, strength 6 line.
And that's what you're looking for. That's outstanding. Wild Animal finally got it.
Yeah, it happens. So racking up some star player points with some passes, as elves tend to do.
Yeah, I think when I played them, I got 2 touchdowns for 6 star player points, and he had 6 passes for 6 star player points. So
touchdown is feasible, but it looks like it's going to be very tough. Trying to get some star player points before he does this risky pass. Ooh, injury. Picking up those 2 star player points. That will be a lineman leveled. Very nicely done. And going for another hit, nothing, not getting as like, let's see if he can get this throw going on. Does no bonuses to the throw and has no catchers in position, so dodging out of the way first. Ooh, it was a good move, running up, trying to see if he can get that pass into somebody standing in the end zone. Probably a little safer than doing the pass. So it was a good attempt, just a bad roll. It happens. Setting up for the second half.
This is what I want to see. This is where it gets good. The first half is usually just the precursor to the actual game, which is the second half. Once you get down on players, once your strategy and your plan don't have any sort of feasibility anymore, this is what I like to see.
This is where you see whether or not a coach is really, really good, where they can scrape together what they have left and get something done with it. So, ball going up. Halfling Master Steps achieving nothing. Very unfortunate for the elites.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's a big cost for not a lot of benefit.
Mm-hmm. Still has not used his wizard though, so we'll see. We'll see what he's going to do with that. Opted not to use his wizard on that last drive. Probably seeing no ability to put it into his favor, just delaying the touchdown a little bit, which would have made it more difficult for him to make a touchdown, which he didn't do in the first half. But it was pretty smart planning. Elves are capable of two-turn touchdowns and do it frequently, as we've seen.
Absolutely correct, and especially when they have the benefit of the. I mean, really, it's a lead blocker, is what that wizard is. It'll knock the crap out of on a 2+, pretty much. I mean, we're not saying guaranteed, but we're saying that. I mean, that's fairly close.
It's generally better odds than actually blocking against the players.
Right. And has the ability to target an area as well. So if I don't think that's going to be an issue here. It looks like it's pretty spread out, but being able to knock somebody out and then use a blitz, I mean, that's pretty powerful. Let's see how he uses it.
Yep. Doing the partial cage over here, not seeing a lot of risks on the backfield, so this is a good cage. And checking his blitz with the Bloodthirster. And Mighty Blow, allowing that injury to go through. Ooh.
That's tough.
Yeah. Didn't even need Mighty Blow.
Yeah, that strength 5's pretty good.
Yeah. So marking the ball carrier. Oh man, now that I think about it, if he had double 5s for that +1 armor value, you could have gotten tackle. That would have been gross. Ooh. Lightning on this pit fighter here and actually rolled a 1, just like we were talking about.
That's what happens.
Pit fighter. Well, I mean, you tried to cast magic on a Khorne follower. That is a poor decision.
Just shakes it up and
just doesn't even just suffer not the magic to exist.
That'll be all right.
Blessings of the Blood God. Moving along. Oh, only got a couple seconds, man. Guess didn't want to deal with those horns downfield, so light it up. Unfortunately, the Bloodletter also has enough movement to get around anyways. I probably would have just gotten him downfield.
True. Well, I mean, the fair point is that you got a guy with frenzy over there. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough situation.
I probably would have just taken him downfield to get the ball down there with less presence. Now you've got so much marking going on. It's bad news. Ooh,
yep, I hear that.
Stunned, then a KO.
I mean, that's one of those things. Like you had a plan. You were. I mean, probably almost counting for that wizard to go. So, you get fairly frustrated in mid-turn. That'll be what happens.
Well, and he ran down to the final seconds of the turn, so I think he was a little bit rushed at the end there as well.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Because now the Elves are in a bad situation. To pick up this ball, they're kind of in a fist fight now. And that's not where you...
but they've been doing all right today, but it's not going to last too much longer.
Yep.
Body count's rising.
Unfortunately, they're missing all their... they got one blitzer remaining? Or is that one a blitzer? Yeah, one blitzer up, so block is almost not available.
Yeah, but to be fair, I don't think that the Crazy 8's have a lot of block.
He opted guard on that one, so you might be right. At least on the remaining players, looks like
all the guys with block are out.
Yeah, looks like 2 players with block, so you're right. So instead of opting to try to go for the -1 on the pickup, which would have just canceled out, it would have been a 3+, and then bailing out and having almost nobody to, I guess he doesn't want to go that way, but heading down this way with the ball, opted to just paint the ball so that they can't pick it up. I think I would have gone for that pickup.
I would have too, especially with the high agility, your ability to get out in a way and then reset. I mean, I would have personally probably tried to pick it up and then go for a scatter pattern. Just get everybody away from everybody and try to set up a pass in a couple turns because you got a lot of people engaging.
Yep. And the longer you stay toe-to-toe with these guys, the worse it's going to get.
Yeah, and they have the strength advantage, especially with the those horns.
Mm-hmm.
And the body advantage.
Yes. So picks it up with a reroll. It went from a 1 to a 6. Now it's, as long as he chooses the correct direction, it's a 2+ to get out, so not that scary. Opting for the pass, not a terrible pass attempt, but with the lack of the reroll, I don't really know what you could have done more with that anyways, so that was probably, honestly, the best move.
Yeah. I'd have gone for my star scramble.
I think I might have preferred to just dodge and start heading down this way and make him do a dodge roll.
Right.
So picking that up on a 4+ and then dodging out on a 3+.
It's because he's no body presence on the ball. I mean.
Yeah. So just doing what he can to build up as much zone defense as possible, but lack of players is going to make this a difficult defense.
Yeah, I think that's going to go pretty quick.
Bloodthirster's still up. That's rough.
He's just eating people now. He's really has the ability to just use him to assault people and try to get star player points at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's got enough bodies and enough skill to not need him to roll a cage.
Oh, but opts to do it anyways. Oh, what a bad push. Had he pushed him, he could have pushed him off, but I think maybe he was getting a little greedy and looking for the injury.
Yeah. I think there's enough turns that he can deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Building that cage, keeping those fundamentals even though he's got the upper hand. That's good to see.
And that's when it's most important, when you have a significant advantage, because that's when people take funny risks and just get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, and mitigate.
People do things you don't expect, yeah.
Yeah, mitigating that luck really helps. Elves defaulting to that fall back and just slow them down until they make a mistake.
And that's a viable tactic as well. That's the other side of that coin is just make them make moves, make them frustrated. I'm not.
That was a handoff for an extra yard, I guess. Maybe he wanted this character to get the star player points. Yeah, he wants this.
Okay.
He wants his bloodletter to get leveled up, so that was a good move. Cost him a reroll, but you know, with 3 remaining after that, I think he can survive.
Yeah. Starting out with 5 is nice.
Yeah, and that's knowing your players and reading. In this situation, you know, he's able to still look at his players and see, you know, he's thinking the long game. Like, what's going to happen in the next game? What's going to happen in the next 3 games? And that's a good place to be.
Yeah, when you're talking about a league, and you know, especially a veteran player with a veteran team, you've gone through it once and you realize, man, I wish I'd you know, or this guy had too many player points and they just all went to one guy instead of across the team.
Ooh. Oh, that could turn it around. Unfortunately, the Elves can still score. This guy is in a good position if the Bloodthirster doesn't fix that lineman for him. Was that a time? Yep, time limit exceeded. Character had not done anything, but he exceeded time limit. That could be a killer for him, where he could have tied it. Ooh, opting to hit over there instead. of going for that, but a couple one-die pushes. Oh, but a really bad throw-in.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sucks.
oh, but he had a
Did
player free.
did that throw-in go twice? Did they throw the ball in and then out of bounds?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay, it might have just been the animation on my
Oh no,
screen.
it
That
was
funny.
it was two throw-ins.
Okay, I was like, where'd that go? It was like a bolt of lightning.
Yep, definitely two throw-ins. It must have hit. Whoop. He does not have enough turns though. Might not be looking at the clock because I think I would have gone for a pass right at the last second. And the last turn for the Khorne Daemons. So it looks like it's going to end 1-0. But that was some little spooky stuff at the end there. Knockouts.
Yeah, that could have gone totally different.
Mm-hmm. Had he not run out of time. That was the killer, running out of time. So that's one thing that we don't talk about a lot is time management. There's a lot of guys, I shouldn't say a lot. There's a couple people in the league that they spend a lot of time planning their turns, but that 4-minute clock is really short when you're brainstorming.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there have been times, more precisely against certain individuals, where I'm like, maybe if we drop this to like a 3-minute per turn, because I've played some 2-hour Blood Bowl games.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 minutes is a lot, except when you have a lot to do and it's not really clear.
Yeah.
When you know exactly what you have going on, when you have a plan and it's working, turns can be a minute, minute 15. But when things go wrong or you realize something that you missed, that's when it extends to 350 plus, where you get that panic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Crazy Eights, I don't really have anything. That was an almost flawless game. Couple click errors, couple clerical errors here and there, but overall, it's kind of the best Blood Bowl you can hope for.
I second that.
And then for the Elves, man, maybe just try to hurry up a little bit on your turns. There's at least two situations in just this game where I saw situations that look like you made mistakes or just didn't have enough time in general because of the time. So while good strategies, you need to make sure that you're developing strategies faster.
Yep. I'll add that I think you got a little too punchy in the beginning. You engaged a little bit. I know that those the Crazy Eights are tough to stay not engaged with because the amount of distance that they can travel, especially when you have horns and frenzy and the big guy moving around with full movement value, you're going to get blitzed a lot, and that's tough, and you want to try to kind of even that score, but you really only need 3 or 4 players to make a play, and everybody else can just get in the way of that. Maybe develop a strategy to accentuate that. You had a great strategy in the beginning with that free agent in the backfield, just ready to take a pass if it goes your way, and then you just got tangled up a little bit, and you have the agility to jump out of the way and to disengage. And I didn't really see that with you. You played more like a semi-bashy team, somebody with a little higher armor value. Not that I'm saying that it's a bad strategy, and it wasn't a disservice to you this time, but you only lost by 1, and that's not bad. And you had a couple opportunities that made it look pretty close. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can go with that. But both teams sustained 4 casualties, so that's interesting.
And that's kind of where I'm stemming out from. Is the Crazy Eights are expected to be punching like that, and the elites, you got lucky with the amount of pens you got, I think. But hey, either way, no deaths, you're all right, man.
Yep, and that was good Blood Bowl. That was a good game. That was good to watch. All right, and I think with that we are done. We will see you in the next game. Cheers.
Cheers.